Right. So it's Julie.
Friends of Carlisle Victorian Turkish baths.
Friends of Carlisle Victorian Turkish bath. Go on, it's dead noisy out here.
It is very noisy, it's a busy road.
Right.
All of this area originally was terraced houses and factories and mills. And in fact, in the 19th century, down the bottom of the road here, there was a reservoir.
Okay.
So this is the Turkish bath. This was opened in 1909.
Yeah.
But it was always envisaged as part of the Victorian public baths.
Right. So what you're saying is the baths were built first in 1824?
1884 they opened.
Okay.
And that was after the Carlisle Corporation Baths Committee took a trip to Liverpool, which is where the first public baths opened in 1842, or opened in 1884. But it was always envisaged that the public baths would have Turkish baths as part of it, because they were hugely popular at the time, not as a luxury spa thing, but very much for working people, which is why the 1846 Baths Act said that there had to be two classes of entry to make sure it was always affordable for working people.
Okay. So we'll have a little look in there. So we've got the Victorian baths next door.
That's right.
And then this was added on later on.
This opened in 1909.
1909. No, we can't go in because there's people there.
This is the waiting area. And behind these lockers here, you can just see the top. That's the original kind of ticket booth where you would come in. The attendant would have given you your ticket. Yeah. And you would have gone through to the beautiful Edwardian Turkish baths, because they are technically Edwardian, but because they were planned
in Victorian.
Yeah, so they're Victorian style.
So if people are coming here, which you still can do, what are they coming in for? What can they expect?
Okay, so the way that Turkish baths are configured is you have 3 rooms of increasing temperature. Yeah. And originally the hottest room would have gotten up to about just shy of 100 degrees centigrade. Okay. So really, really hot. It's about 200 Fahrenheit. Wow. And you go through each of the room getting hotter and hotter. And when you just about had enough, you then go and plunge into the cold plunge pool. And the whole idea was that it would invigorate your system, get your heart beating, your blood pumping round. Yeah. But the sweating was expelling all your toxins. So an integral part of the Turkish bath experience was the shampoo room afterwards, where you give yourself a really good scrub. So the working people from the factories around here, this is where they would come to get clean at the end of the day. And they would use the slipper baths next door in the Victorian baths, because you didn't have bathrooms in your houses in them days.
Right, okay. So what about the baths? Who would use the actual baths? Just anyone who can afford it?
Anybody. Again, they had first and second class baths, because the 1846 Baths Act said that there had to be a way of them being affordable for working people. It wasn't a snobbery thing. Okay. It was to make sure they were accessible to working people. So you could have a swim, but you'd also have a bath, like in your house. They called them slipper baths. Right. And I've seen on the plans, and I don't really know much about it, but there on the original plans for the public baths, there was a little area that said Roman baths. So I'm not quite sure what that was about.
Right, okay. Well, there's Roman baths all over Carlisle.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, they wouldn't be original ones, but they were obviously incorporated in the Victorian design.
So, Friends of Victorian Carlisle Turkish baths, that's some name, I don't know.
I know, we're the Friends of Carlisle Victorian and Turkish baths.
Yeah, save the baths, right,
Save the baths, save the Carlisle baths.
Explain what that's about. What is the issue, what is the problem, and what are the solutions?
Okay, just put those down, I'm feeling very hot.
Who wants to close them? So,
it's not as simple as they want to close them, but what is going to happen next year, it would have been happening about now, is 2 new swimming pools are opening at the Sands Leisure Centre. Yeah. When that happens, the public baths will close.
Yeah, the new ones, the ones
leaving just this little section, which is the Turkish baths, on their own to function. Okay. So our concern is they were never intended just to be a standalone facility. They were always planned to be part of a public baths offer. Okay. Is it feasible for a small Turkish bath to survive on its own when there's nothing else alongside it?
And is it?
Question mark. I don't know.
So what? I don't know. So, okay, so what is the solution? Okay, the problem is the main bath is going to go. Yes. This is going to be standalone. Yeah. So what is the solution?
So our proposed solution is you keep the 2 pools, which are currently teaching pools, the original pools of the public baths, the Victorian public baths, keep them filled, keep them in use, so people can at least have a Turkish bath and a swim at the same time. That's our kind of phase 1 plan from 2022. But our bigger vision is to develop the whole of the Victorian public baths next door as a health and wellbeing centre. One of the pools could then become a hydrotherapy pool. We could have treatment rooms in the block that's just here, which is the 1920s block of the baths, treatment and therapy rooms, and we would love to add a restaurant and a bar at what is now the back of the building, but will be facing the new station entrance, Carlisle station.
Right, okay, so that sounds feasible.
So it would be a boost to the nighttime economy in Carlisle, but it would also mean that, you know, day trippers could come and spend a day here, have food, have drink, have their treatments, plunge in and out, swim. We also envisage there being some fitness studios for yoga and Pilates. We don't envisage it as a sports facility. This is very much health and well-being, which of course was the whole ethos of public baths when they opened.
So who is likely to pick, who do you want to pick this up? Who can pick it and run with this?
Well, the ball's in Carlisle City Council's court at the moment because they own this building.
Okay.
They commissioned a feasibility study at the beginning of the year to look at alternative functions for the baths, which is why our campaign group was set up, because those words alternative functions slightly suggested that the Turkish baths wouldn't necessarily continue to function as Turkish baths.
Right.
We understand that feasibility study is with the council now. We haven't seen it. Once we see it and once we understand what the council is going to do with that feasibility study, we're better equipped to build our plans. But as a campaign group, we've been talking to the people that were involved in the campaign in Newcastle for their city baths, which just reopened after 8 years last year. And their Turkish baths have reopened in the last 2 weeks.
Right.
And they partnered with Fusion Leisure, who have, to bring the baths back into use, put £7.5 million into it. We know this is a hefty price tag, so there will need to be some inward investment. But we also know right now that Carlisle is getting a lot of inward investment from a variety of central government funds. So the city's had around £250 million allocated to it for various regeneration schemes. And we think this could be the next one.
Right, okay, so at present this isn't part of any of them schemes?
No. It sits outside of the Borderlands project, which is the County Council, City Council and a number of the other district councils. Of course, all that's changing in the next year with the reorganisation of local government in the county. But yes, the Borderlands, it sits outside the Borderlands. It's not part of the Future High Streets Fund. However, there are other funds that are coming up because, of course, part of the government's...
But who would pick up and run it? The council? Or are you looking for private individuals?
So the model in Newcastle was their campaign group had the city baths listed as an asset of community value. I think I've got that the right way around. Which then means that if the building was ever put up for sale, there's a 6-month moratorium when local people have the opportunity to raise the money to buy the premises, which is what the campaign group did. We're not necessarily going down that route ourselves, but if it came to it, that's why we would then be looking for another partner to come in with us and potentially take over and create the Health and Wellbeing Centre. But there's funding out there with heritage funding to bring somewhere like the Turkish baths back up to how it would have been in its heyday.
It looks stunning, them tile works are amazing. They are absolutely amazing. When you pop your head in. People in there?
I think you can just quickly have a quick look. There's your icy plunge pool.
Wow.
So like I say, through there, there's a modern sauna and a modern steam room, but there's the 3 original hot rooms as well.
Right, but the hot room's a hot room, but this is like pure. This is beautiful.
So the tiles, these are all, everything that you can see here, apart from that plastic thing, is original. So this has been here 112 years.
Wow. This is like, this
you wouldn't
is stunning.
think it coming from that busy road you just stepped in on.
No.
But yeah, this is where you come. You know, back in the day, you would have got hot, plunged. When you were ready to relax, you'd come and sit on one of the beds. These beds are all original.
Wow.
So they've been going for 112 years.
Wow.
And you would have a massage. There would be a masseur on site. My mum used to come in the 60s after she finished a long shift at Carl's biscuit factory, and she'd come here after work, after her shift, have a steam, have a plunge, have a rest, have a massage, and they would bring her a cup of tea and a slice of toast. Wow. And she'd walk out feeling like $1 million. Yeah.
Right, okay, we're going to go outside. It's boiling in here. At this side, see this place. It is just pure opulence. And it must have been like, wow, amazing for the...
But things like, I mean, there was over 700 Turkish baths in their heyday in the UK. Over 700. There's only 12 left now, and 12. Only 9 of them are open to the public, and this is one of them.
We're with Julie still. Right, viability, what's happening with the station, and how is this going to tie in with the baths?
So over here you can see the viaduct wall of the station. On the other side of that are all the railway tracks and Carlisle station. As part of the Borderlands Gateway project, they're creating a new entrance to the station that'll bring you out to the new station car park. So you can get into the station that way now, but it's going to be much bigger, much more obvious. Yeah. For a lot of people, that's the way they're going to come. If they're on, they're changing onto a coach, they'll be coming out this way. So you're going to walk literally where that chimney is. You'll come out and bam, the first thing you see is this not very attractive building.
Fair enough.
But our vision, so because that's the Turkish baths bit there, and then here is the back of the original public baths. So you can see beyond the scaffolding, there's the original skylight over one of the pools.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your 2 pools there and on the other side of this building. This currently is just offices for the pool staff.
Okay.
What we envisage is creating a new entrance and reception here.
Yeah. With
a restaurant and a bar immediately obvious above it. So if you did just want to come for a meal, you can. But if you're coming from the day trip, you'll step off your train, and you're going to be in here in 5 minutes.
That's okay.
And you can spend the day there. You can have your Turkish bath, you can have a steam, you can have a sauna, you can have your therapy or your treatment, you can have a swim, spend the day here, go home feeling like $1 million.
Right, okay, so we'll finish it off there. So you've explained what the problem is, what solutions are in the pipeline, and how can people find you guys and to show their support, get involved and whatnot?
Yeah, so if you'd like to know more about...
You can't know more, you've told us absolutely everything. It's not possible. No, I'm joking.
No, we're doing daily updates, it's fascinating. Yeah, so if you want to find out more about the campaign, about the baths, come and find us on Facebook. We are Friends of Carlisle Victorian Turkish Baths. We're on Twitter as well, and we are on Instagram. And very shortly, we'll have a website. And there is also...
That's lovely, look at that.
There we go, you can find us Facebook and Twitter. We've added Instagram recently, and we've also got a petition in support of our vision. There's 1,000 people have signed that already. Add your signature to that. And more recently, we've started fundraising so that we can build the website. So please do make a donation. You'll find all those details on our Facebook, on our Twitter, on our Instagram.
So if you've got vision, get onto the petition and make it your mission to something isn't. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right, there you go. That's it.
Don't pull the plug.
Don't pull the plug.
Don't pull the plug on the bath.
But I'm waffling on about. Right, okay. That's it. It's been a pleasure. I've never been. You know what? I've never been in there. I've seen pictures. The pictures don't do it justice. No. It is absolutely stunning. It's opulent, and it is a lal treasure.
It is.
Yeah. I'm not just saying that. It is. It's an absolute gem. So it would be, I'd say, criminal if that was to get knocked down and flattened.
Or become a bar.
Yeah.
We want it to be retained for what it was built for.
But they can't do that with that building. It's great.
They can't knock the building down, but it doesn't mean it stays open as a bath.
No. But anyway, don't pull the plug.
Don't pull the plug.
Julie, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.